A very warm welcome in the class of Introduction to Function of Several Variables. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, JIS College of Engineering. This is going to be a new part of your syllabus. That is why you are getting the topic name as Introduction. But this is going to introduce a new concept of functions of several variables. So what is the function of several variables? What are the applications of function of several variables in engineering field? Everything will be discussed gradually. But before that, you need to know that what are the prerequisites we have for understanding this particular topic in a better way. The prerequisites are, first, we need to know the function of single variable. It is already known to us. We have studied various examples, types, and properties of function of single variable starting from the class of 11 knowingly, and to be frank, unknowingly we are actually dealing with the function of single variable from our very childhood days when the algebra was introduced to us. Next prerequisite is that what is the meaning of domain for a function? Obviously now I am talking about the function of single variable because these are the prerequisites, but the concept of domain has to be very much clear to us for any functions. Next, the concept of range. You know that in the concept of in the context of single variable functions, what is the meaning of domain? That means on which particular set the function is playing its role, and the range, that the particular set where the function is giving the output after taking into consideration the inputs from the domain. This is completely a non-mathematical way of thinking, but it is just a concept, or it is just the story behind this. Obviously we do have some rules to find out the domain, we do have some rules to find out the range and to verify all these things, but initially these are the things through which you can visualize, you can imagine that what we are talking about regarding the domain and range. So now first of all, you have this diagram or graph of a function. So look at this. In this axis it is given to as x, and in this y-axis generally what we are talking about, it is fx. So what we are representing is that for any value of x in this x-axis, if we take suppose here, and then corresponding perpendicular was there to get the value of fx here, and it is nothing but the functional value what is going to be plotted from this. So generally if this is our point A, we denote it as A comma fa. This is having a different significance of this x star because according to this diagram, yes, obviously you all are able to understand that we are talking about some maxima minima concept, and it is nothing but minima, local minima of this function, and we are getting x star over here. Now this is the pictorial representation of a function of single variable. What is the variable over here? It is x. And what is the function? It is f. So f is a function of x, where x is the independent variable, and the number of independent variables in this example is 1. So it is a pictorial representation of a function of single variable. Now proceeding further, what we get, suppose this is a representation. Our main concern is that you are not getting a single curve over here, you are getting a surface over here. I am not drawing anything on this because it is a beautiful picture. I don't want to just make this distorted. Just you please try to imagine the surface presented in this particular picture, and you will see that there are some clips, there are some downwards direction fall, and then there is some again upwards, but there we are seeing one axis, there we are seeing another axis, and it is another one. So look at this. If you take this particular plane x and y, suppose, and if you take the points x comma y from this plane, so for that particular point x comma y, if you drop a perpendicular on the upward direction, that means in z axis, then you will get a point on this surface. Or you can think it in the different manner, that you select a point from this and then you drop a perpendicular on xy plane, you will get a point x0 comma y0 or x1 comma y1. So basically the function or some mechanism, suppose if this mechanism is taking some input from xy plane, suppose in the name of x dash y dash, and it is giving another output whose value is nothing but on this particular z axis. So you are getting another real number over here, suppose. So what the mechanism gives you, that a function or a particular machine is over here who is taking into consideration two values. Both of them are independent because you are selecting any point on xy plane arbitrarily, so they are independent, and you are getting some output after inserting them in the function f. So obviously there is a difference between this fx and f of x dash y dash. This is the basically the introduction of the function of several variables, where several term is used for this because it is having more than one. It can be more than one, means it can be 2, 3, 4 and anything. We are considering it here only 2 as the initial representation, and we are getting one functional value of, it may be 2, it may be 3, it may be 2.3 or anything on a real number. So we are getting a function of several variables in this idea. So we have to make this idea concrete by the help of proper definitions, theorems, and we are going into particularly that particular section. So one definition of this several variable function, what we get, we are taking, suppose D is a set of n tuples because it is a generalization of, and these n tuples are nothing but n real numbers starting from x1 to xn. Now a real valued function means after getting these inputs, the output is a real value of that function f on D, is a rule that assigns a unique real number. This is very important, unique real number, and this real number is denoted by w, and the whole notation is nothing but f of x1 x2 dot 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 xn. So how many independent variables you are getting here? It is n. It may be n may be equal to 2, n may be equal to 3, or n may be anything more than that. So what we ultimately get, this set D, that means from which we are taking the n tuples from this particular definition x1 x2 x3 xn, this is called the function's domain. That means from where we are collecting, and the set of w values taken on by f is the function's range. So for the every selected point from the domain, you will get unique values of f, which is denoted by w, and all these w's are placed in a set which is nothing but the range of that function. So the symbol of w is the dependent variable of f, and f is said to be the function of n independent variables x1 to xn. We can also obviously call that the function's input variables, and this is the output variable. Now look at this pictorial representation. What you are getting, that you have x-axis and y-axis, and you have on this xy plane this is your actually xy plane. On this xy plane you are getting various points. You can take AB, you can take xy in general, you can take this point, or you can take any point from this. The function f, that means the rule what we are actually talking about, this function f is pulling these points from this xy plane into the real number line, which is z axis. For our understanding, we are generally denoting it by this. Basically you are taking the points from here and you will get a value for this particular point on this particular axis. So this AB point comes into FAB, XY point comes into FXY, and this point comes into particularly another point, blue point over here. But the concept is you are pulling these points as an input and you are getting these particular points on real number line, another real number line, which is always going to give you the real valued function, real values actually, and you will get fxy over here. So now proceeding further, what we get, domains and range, which is already discussed. Now we are going to give you some examples obviously. So in defining a function of more than one variable, we follow the usual practice of excluding inputs that lead to complex numbers or division by zero, because obviously we are thinking about real valued functions. So if we take fxy as root over x minus y square, y cannot be less than x square, because otherwise it will be creating a complex number. If fxy is taken as 1 by xy, it is obvious to get the existence of this one, xy can't be 0. So these are the very basic ideas which are actually mentioned in the prerequisites, that this has to be kept into our mind to keep the problems in the proper channel. Now the domain of the function is assumed to be the largest set for which the defining rule generates real numbers. Okay. Now unless the domain is not otherwise specific explicitly, if it is not given to you, and the range consists of the set of output values for the dependent variables. So we get in the example number 1 that we are taking the function, suppose here z is equal to root over y minus x square. So what will be the domain? Domain is nothing but y is greater than x square. So we will take those points, those combinations of xy such that y will be always greater than equal to x square. This condition has to be maintained on the xy plane, and after maintaining these conditions, the points what we are getting on xy plane are nothing but the domain of this function. And what is the range? Range is 0 to infinity. 0 is closed over here. Why it is 0 to infinity? Because the output functions, output values for this function, which will be the value of z actually, as we are taking it root over, and as we are taking it as positive numbers or 0, so the root over y minus x square will always give you the positive numbers or 0. So the range of z will be starting from 0 to infinity, means y is equal to x square and is 0, then z will be 0, so it will start from 0. And suppose y is equal to 2x square, so 2x square minus x square is x square, so it will be root over x square, that is x. So the value of x what you have selected will be in the range of this one. So this is the elaborate discussion on the domain and range with example for function of several variables. Now you can think for more examples like z equal to 1 by xy. So the domain will be only xy not equal to 0. Okay. And the range will be minus infinity to 0 open interval union 0 to infinity open interval, because in the range 0 will never come. Why 0 will never come? Because if a z has to be equal to 0, then 1 by xy has to be equal to 0. Now if x and y, their multiplication is not equal to 0 as prescribed in the domain, then how you can get that 1 by a non-zero number is 0? It is not possible. So you will never get the value of z equal to 0 for this function. So in the range 0 will never come. That is why we have to exclude 0 from the set of real numbers, and the remaining real numbers are minus infinity to 0 open and union of open 0 to infinity. These are very interesting examples, and these will actually create your concepts, because don't skip these problems by a quick succession. Devote some time for these problems. It will build up your confidence as well as concept. So similarly, for z equal to sine xy, if we take, then what are the points we can take as point of xy? We can take any point because sine of any point is defined, and the range will be -1 to 1, because we know the function, the sine function always represented in this form sinusoidal, and where it is +1 and this is -1. So the range of this one will be +1 to -1. So now proceeding further, we are having a very important concept of interior point, boundary point, and the region when it is called open and when it is called closed. In engineering field, someone may argue that where is the importance of these points, but to be specific, you can't exclude the basic mathematical concepts from your study, that it may not be appearing in our direct example or in direct application, but these are the points actually important for engineering field, because when you are getting some complexity, when you are getting some problems, when you are getting some singularity, these concepts will help you to bring out the original solution. So what is stated here, we will also get some pictorial representation for these problems. That is, in the region a point x0 y0 in the xy plane is called interior point if it is a center of a disk of positive radius. Positive radius means the disk has to be having the radius greater than 0. It may be very very small, but it has to be a disk of positive radius that lies entirely in R. And the concept of boundary point is that every disk, whatever the disk you are trying to construct, you will see that the whole portion of the disk will never be in the region, because you will get some points those lie outside of R, as well as some points those lie inside of R. That is why they are called boundary points. And obviously the interior points of a region, as I said, make up the interior of the region. So all the interior points, if you consider, those set of points will be called the region, interior of the region, and the region's boundary points make up its boundary. A region is open. When it is called open, when if it is going to consist all the interior points. So all the interior points of a region will be contained in the particular region, then it will be called open. And if a region is closed, if it contains all the boundary points. So it will be more clear when we are going to see the figures. So figures states that this is x square plus y square less than 1. It is an open unit disk, this one, and every point is an interior point, because whatever the point you are going to take, you will get a distance of that point to the boundary point, and you can take the distance divided by 2, and you will create a circular disk which will totally contained in the particular region, and which will obviously contain the point of concern. So that point is an interior point. Now if you take is equal to sign, that is x square plus y square is equal to 1, that means all the points on this particular boundary is considered. So think about it, if you want to construct one disk of this particular, keeping this particular point as a center, obviously the circular disk will contain some points of R and some points which are not in R. So it is very much clear that this point is a boundary point. And when you are considering less than equal to, means all the interior points as well as the boundary points, then it will create a closed unit disk. It will contain all boundary points. It is true that it will contain all the interior points also, but it contains in addition with this one that not only the interior points but also the boundary points. So it is closed one. So look at this, in randomized shape, if you consider this shape or this shape, this is actually the concept of interior points, which is clear by the drawing of the circular disc, and similarly this is the concept of boundary points, which is drawn by the circular disc, dotted circular disc. So now proceeding further, we are going to introduce one very important concept of graph, level curve, and contour of a function of two variables. This is a matter of realization and obviously visualization. So look at this. Actually, there are two standard ways to picture the value of functions of fxy. One is to draw the level curve, so we have to know what is level curve, and another one is to sketch the surface, the whole surface. So look at this. The definition tells us that, please understand the definition because you will need it in the next subsequent slides. The set of points in the plane where a function fxy has a constant value means we need only those points where the function fxy is equal to c. Now that c can vary. If c is 1, then it will be level curve. If c is 2, then it will be another level curve. If c is 1.5, it will be another level curve. But the level curve of f will be for a fixed value of f. Okay, and the set of all points, that means if you consider the points xy for which you are drawing the level curve as along with the functional value also, then it will create the surface in the space and you will get the graph of f. So the graph of f is also called the surface z fxy, because in this consideration we are actually containing the point x, the point y, as well as the point fxy. Now look at this. We have taken this particular screenshot for the 21st August 2020, this Friday, where it is projected the lines that in which particular line in the case of the downfall, because there is a the prediction of heavy rainfall due to this monsoon. But the most important point is that why we are relating this one with this particular discussion. If you see this line is not a straight line, this is a curved line and it is going for this direction. What is this? And if you see that there is a line, there is a number written 1008. What is the meaning of this 1008? So it may have any unit, it may be the quantity of downfall, it may be the speed of wind, but the most important thing what I want to emphasize is that on this particular line everywhere it is predicted or projected that the value of wind will be 1008. That means in this particular region it is not 1008, in this particular region it is not 1008. If you want to know in which category this particular point is actually falling out, then you have to find out another curve passing through this line and you have to find out the value for which this curve is specific. So this is nothing but the concept of level curve. So I think you know what is the application. I think it is already exhibited to you. Now we are having a very quick example on this particular thing, that the graph of fxy, the thing is given as 100 minus x square minus y square. We are asked to plot the level curves when first one the value of c is 0, the value of c is 51, the value of c is 75. Now this discussion is made over here. I want to make this discussion from the visualization point of view. The visualization point of view is nothing but this is the shape or this is the surface of z is equal to 100 minus x square minus y square. Now if you think that fxy equal to 0, what is the scenario? So if you make it equal to 0, you will get x square plus y square equal to 100. It is nothing but a circle, and this is a circle of radius 10 keeping its center at origin. So this is the circle. Look at this. This is the circle. So this circle is nothing but x square plus y square is equal to 100. So it is the level curve of fxy equal to 0. Now when this fxy will be 0 means the surface is having the value 0. This is the surface. So whenever you are lifting your point up the xy plane, that means this fxy will have some value, non-zero value, positive value, but we need that fxy has to be 0. That means we can't lift ourselves from the xy plane. So fxy will be 0. That means it is this particular boundary of this surface with this xy plane. So fxy equal to 0 is this. But if you want to think that what is fxy equal to 51, then you have to find out the value of 51 in this particular z-axis. And suppose that this is the value of 51. Suppose this is the value of 51 here, because it is 100. Suppose it is 75 and it is 51. So for this, actually you will have to cut this surface, and you will see that then you have to project this particular cross section in this xy plane, and you will get that fxy is equal to 51 will be nothing but creating this circle. Similarly, fxy 75 will create this circle. The question is, if it is fxy equal to 100, then you will get x square plus y square equal to 0. And what is x square plus y square equal to 0? It is nothing but the origin. So it is already stated over here that if x square plus y square is equal xy is equal to 100, it will consist the origin alone. That means only this point, because this point will have a projection on a point only. Clear? So this is also stated, if the value is greater than 100, then what will happen? Obviously then fxy will be, the values of fxy will be negative. And for example, the circle, if we take x square plus y square is equal to 144, which is the circle concentrated at the origin with radius 12, keeps the constant value fxy is equal to minus 44, is the level curve of f. That means if you go down of xy plane, then you will get a level curve over here, and which is nothing but f of xy is equal to minus 44. That means if you are going down, it will be containing negative value, but the circle will be growing bigger, because this surface is having the tendency to growing bigger and bigger when it is going down. And the idea of contour curve is also very important. Look at this. The contour curve is here. We are taking the same example, but the given definition is that the curve in the space in which the plane z equal to c cuts a surface, what is already stated by me in the previous slide, z is equal to fxy, is made up of the points that represent the function value fxy equal to c. This is called contour curve. So fxy equal to c, distinguish it from the level curve fxy is equal to c in the domain of f. So what is here, the contour curve fxy, this one is equal to 75, is the circle x square plus y square is equal to 25. X square plus y square is equal to 25 is nothing but the adjustment or simplification of this one in the plane z equal to 75. So this is your plane z equal to 75, and the contour curve of fxy is the circle x square plus y square is equal to 25 in the plane, in this plane. Okay, that means nothing but it is creating a specific boundary of this shape. Now it is very easily identified by you that what is showing here, it is nothing but the function of several variables, but the number of independent variables has increased. It is from 2 to 3. Here we are getting 3 independent variables, x, y and z, and w is the output variable. Now the domain and the range of all these things will be analyzed, and you can take any point from this space which will contain the value of x, y and z, we can put them. So x square plus y square plus z square will always be positive. So if you take the root over of them, it is possible for us to get any value in the positive part of the real number line. So it is having the range of 0 to infinity. Similarly, you can analyze that what will be the case for 1 by x square plus y square plus z square. Similarly, you can analyze what will be the case for xy log x log z. The definition is not here label curve. The idea is updated or rather upgraded from label curve to label surface, because it is not possible for you to get any label curve over here. So what is stated over here, that the set of points x, y, z in space where the function of three independent variable has constant value, the concept is same, only the concept is enhanced from two variables to three variables, and then it is called label surface of f. So what we get as the pictorial representation, so if you get x square plus y square is equal to z square, and if you fix the value of them is 1, like what we have fixed over here. Similarly, if we get the value 2 over here or 3 over here, every time it will create you are keeping it as a constant, and you will get that this is the level surface, this blue part. You can just imagine you are unwrapping our earth after a certain distance. So after a certain distance, if you are unwrapping, then you will get the same shape, but the upper part of this particular thing is called the level surface. So this bluish surface is nothing but root over x square plus y square plus z square equal to 1, this surface, and this ash color is for 2, and the outer portion is here for 3. In this manner, if you go for, because look at this length is 1, this length is 2, this whole length is 3. So if you want to make it 4, 5, then it will be another, and so on. So the concept for interior point, boundary point, the open region, the closed region are similarly enhanced as we have discussed it for the two variables. Just for the pictorial representation, please think about it. If you want to get a boundary of a point on a plane, you need a circular disk. But if you want to get the boundary of a point on space, you need a sphere. That is why for the concept of interior point, instead of disk, the concept of sphere is introduced. Similarly, the concept of sphere is introduced for the boundary points also. Just if you are strong in the visualization, it will be nothing but the same idea. Just the suitable changes are made because of two variables to three variables upgradation. Now these are for the basic application of the function of several variables. Actually, when we are thinking for computer graphing, then we have taken this example from Thomas calculus, because Thomas calculus helps us a lot for making this particular material. You can just go through the book also, but the analysis part is that when you are having this curve, or there is a practical example is given, then the temperature relationship of earth surface along with the depth of this one, then this is the relationship. But the relationship is just viewing this relationship, it is not possible for us to visualize the thing or to understand the thing, where the pictorial representation is far better than this. So this is the pictorial representation of the graph, which shows that the seasonal variation of the temperature below ground as a fraction of surface of temperature. Now the computer generated graphs of numbers of functions of two variables together with their label curves. So if you just think about only one picture, suppose this one, so you have to fix the value of z. So if you fix the value of z, suppose here, then what you see, you will say a top point over here, 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 and everything will give you a shape like this. So what you see that at a topmost point on Z over here, you will get this one, then this one, then this one, and then this one. Now when you are coming down, then these shapes will be growing bigger, and look at this, the shapes are growing bigger, this one, this one. After that, when you are at a position where you are under this particular area, that means you are getting area from this part, you are getting area from this part, you are getting area from this part, then you will not get these shapes, because here the shapes will be like this, because this will not be closed, this will be having some shape of this form, what is stated over here. So this is the most important part of visualization. Similarly, this is for this one and this is for this one. So whenever the surfaces will be complicated, it is tough to analyze the surface, then we take the help of level curve, and the level curve actually helps us a lot to understand the characteristics of the curves. That is why this is represented to you and this is given to you. What is your job? You can see that there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 level curves, and there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 graphs, surfaces I should say. Your job is to map that for which curve, rather for which surface, what is the representation of the level curve. This is a matching problem, and you can get the clue by looking at the surfaces very cautiously. Now, as it is the introductory part, it will be having a little more extension of this particular idea. So it is the simple representation of a curve, typical function of fxy, and this is the concept of limit of a function of two variables graphically, because when you are thinking for real number lines, you are approaching in this direction and this direction, but when you are thinking for surface, you can approach a point from various directions, that is actually represented over here. But from various directions, whenever you are approaching, the functional value if remains same, then it is called the limiting value of this particular point of this surface. And the problems are like this. So if you have a problem, a function of several variable of this representation, and if you want to find out the value of xy at 4 3, then direct substitution will give you this one and then simplified by this one. So we can write that we will get the value of limiting value as 1. But if this thing is so simple, and then it will be very good, but the beauty will be not there. So the beauty of mathematics gives you that when you get another problem like this and you are trying to substitute by direct substitution, you will get something 5 by 0 which will lead you to this decision that it is undefined, so the limit does not exist. And again, one more beauty is that if you have another function like this, then you will get this direct substitution will give you 0 by 0 form, which is indeterminate, means you are not able to determine anything from this. So you need more investigation. These all things will be discussed in the next class, because we need a elaborate discussion on limit and continuity of function of several variables. But we have to remember one thing: the function must approach the same value along any path, because you are approaching through a surface like this, what we already stated. And it is the general strategy that we are actually trying to approach that point for y equal to mx line. If it is passing through origin, basically, then we can use this one, and we can put any value of m from the real number line r, and obviously the directions will be changed. And if we get the same value is coming, it is independent of m, it's okay. But if it depends on m, that means for various direction you are getting various values, means limit does not exist. So algebraically we use this equation y is equal to mx, replace this one, we get this one. Look at this 2xy by x square plus y square. If we substitute this, we will get this one, because x square will be cancelled out from numerator and denominator. So xy tends to 0 means x comma x mx, x comma mx tends to 0 0, and so it is adequate to take only x tends to 0 because y is now substituted by m. And what we get, limit of 2m by 1 plus m square x tends to 0, it is independent of x, so it is 2m by 1 plus m square. But unfortunately it depends on m. As it depends on m, from various direction the value of this function's limit will be different, so it will not be existing. We will be discussing this one in the next class. So these are the assignments provided to you. You have to go through perform all these problems for more concepts, and these are the references we have used for preparing this particular lecture. These are very important ideas, and the resources, we are thankful to them. And finally, I want to thank you all for your patience. Keep learning. Happy learning, happy listening.